He's a father.
So he was a legal
worker.
citizen then?
He was here legally. He's not a citizen. He was here from El Salvador, and he had protection to not be sent back to El Salvador, where he felt he was in danger of gangs. Well, he had been threatened in El Salvador, and so he is here, and he has legal protection that was adjudicated for him, like in 2018 or sometime back.
I think anybody that is in the United States has legal protection.
Should have
Yeah,
exactly.
they didn't, but
By the Constitution.
But they picked him. They
Yeah.
picked him up off the street. Basically, only
Kidnapped.
allowed him time for his wife to get there and pick up his son, who was in the back seat, 5-year-old, and they took him. I don't remember. First to some local ICE detention center, and then to Texas, and then to El Salvador. And he's in this CCOT prison in El Salvador. And Trump said, and they even said it was an administrative error, that he wasn't supposed to be sent there. But then Trump says he can't get him back. And Bukele, the president of El Salvador, says he can't get him back either. So all these strong men are so lacking in power to get a person back who, to have due process. And the judge said, if he is a criminal, if you're so sure of that, you should be willing to say your part, say your piece in court, give him due process. If you're sure that he is a criminal, you shouldn't be afraid to give him due process. But he's there along with hundreds of other people, and what better time to have him set free than Easter weekend?
I guess I'm a little confused because my understanding was that in 2019 he went before a judge who granted him a withholding order to El Salvador because the Barrio 18 gang was going to kill him, he said. That's the only reason he could be deported, but he couldn't go back to there because that's what the withholding order is for. And that's not permanent. That can be removed at any time.
I think that sounds correct to me, but then they did take him back to El Salvador.
They did in 22 because
And they didn't give him any...
because two judges deemed that he was a member of MS-13, which is
I don't think judges did. No, I'm sorry.
There two did actually. Two did.
I guess I would have to read that more, but I think there have been a lot of people just taking students off of college campuses.
Right, but that's a separate case. I mean, this one, the judges actually issued a deportation order for him.
I don't think so.
Yeah, they actually did, but
I guess I'll have to.
they did. So,
But,
and then he was.
I don't believe that's true.
So I mean, just some of the facts are a little bit.
Yeah, they are.
You should probably
mushy,
maybe because I've heard some people say some crazy things about it, and I'm like, that's not actually what happened. So,
the judge that I believe I read or heard a report from two judges, Zinnis, I think it's Xinis, and Boasberg, B-O-A-S.
yeah, they both said he should bring him back, and then that went to the Supreme Court, and then 9-0 said that they don't have to. They have to facilitate it, but they don't have to bring him back. They don't have an authority to override the president on foreign policy.
Well, the Supreme Court does have the authority to override.
They didn't. The 9-0 said that they don't have the authority. They said they can facilitate it. So in other words, if El Salvador says, hey, we'll send him back, they will provide a plane. But there's nothing that says that they have to actually make it affect it. They said they facilitate it. And that was 9-0. So they did, and they
back to the
but they
court or whatever
right
it's called. So
to redefine it because they said you don't have the authority to override his force policy. Yeah. But yeah, it's confusing. Agreed.
It's a mess, and
It is.
people don't have due process. I mean,
Actually, that's not what the order said. If you go into Pacer, which I have done, which is, do you know about Pacer?
As far as
Do you know what Pacer is?
no, but
Have you ever used Pacer?
no.
Okay. Pacer is the record system for the United States courts, U.S. courts, not Minnesota courts. You go into Pacer, you read the court order. What they said, the 9-0 is that they do not have they can tell the president that he should facilitate.
Correct. They don't have the authority to tell them to affect shit.
They have the authority to tell him he should try.
And
They
he's
did not
trying,
tell
he's
him
trying.
he had the authority to do it. There's a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think
He
that's
doesn't
what
have.
Mike
They
is
don't have the
saying.
authority to tell him to do it.
They have the authority.
They can't force him to do that.
They have.
Could if they chose to, but they didn't. They haven't chosen to.
No. You're missing something too.
Okay. We're both missing something. Okay. Yeah, no.
He sounds like he's saying they can't force him to follow the law. That's not what he's saying. He's saying they can't force him to follow a law that doesn't exist.
Ah. Does that sound right? Like, is she understanding what you're saying?
I think we're close. I wasn't actually listening. I had to see the sign was interesting. No chainsaws. That's cute.
Well, it is confusing.
It is. There's a lot to it.
There's a lot going on.
Well, thanks so much. Appreciate it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
good to talk.
Yes, you too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Heidi.
Yeah, I had our log cabin. We had
On the board for Lake County Power, then?
Nope.
Oh,
That's my dad.
that's your
He's
dad?
busy with
I'm
everything.
getting
I don't do
so
anything.
confused. I'm getting so.
I don't do anything.
I'm getting so confused about the generations.
Right. Yeah. It's Trump's. How you doing? How you doing?
Good, you?
Good. I just wanted to see what your sign was, what you're out here for. Awesome. Thanks. How you doing? How you doing? Good. Resist. It's like traders are stealing. Wow. How you doing? Hi. It's in Russia. That's a good one. Elbows up. How you doing? It's a lot of hate. Have a good day. Have a good one, Bill.
This is Mike.
Yeah, good seeing you.
So. Are you going to put that on Democrat site? You're a Democrat, right?
Yeah, right.
Time to convert you.
Fat chance. See ya. Yeah,
With all of your recordings.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe nothing. Maybe I'll just, or maybe I don't know. Who knows? I don't know what. I just like I'd like to have a recording of it so I can see, so I can remember what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some of the conversations are interesting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can look back at them and listen to them.
Yeah. Good.
All right.
Good.
See ya.
Thank you.
Oh, well.